Before the stone giants pierced the sky, there was only the endless ocean of sand and the burning eye of the sun.
But through the heart of the wasteland, a vein of life pulsed, bringing the black earth that would birth a civilization.
Here, amidst the papyrus and the waters, the forces of nature dictated the rhythm of existence.
At night, the heavens whispered secrets of eternity, mapping a destiny written in the stars.
The cycle of inundation became the first law, teaching man that order could emerge from chaos. Wanderers ceased their roaming, drawn to the river's promise of sustenance and shelter. They tamed the soil, turning the river's gift into the grain that would fuel an empire. From the mud of the Nile, they shaped their first homes, the humble ancestors of the monuments to come. Artistry bloomed alongside survival, as human hands learned to mold the earth into forms of utility and beauty. As communities swelled, the need for order gave rise to the first chieftains, the precursors to god-kings. They looked to the skies and saw the divine, forging a covenant with gods who controlled the wind and the water. Time itself was measured, aligning the works of man with the eternal cycles of the cosmos. Death was not an end, but a threshold, a journey to the west where the sun sank into the underworld. Two lands became one under the double crown, binding the valley in a singular vision of power. To preserve the soul, they built houses for eternity, low and flat, waiting for the inspiration to rise. Mind dared to dream of a stairway to the heavens, stacking stone upon stone to reach the gods. At Saqqara, the horizon was forever changed, as the first mountain of stone emerged from the desert floor. With soft copper and hard resolve, they conquered the rock, turning chaotic geology into geometric perfection. The path to perfection was paved with trial and error, as architects learned the physics of eternity. Finally, the geometry was mastered, a perfect triangle piercing the sky, a true ray of the sun petrified in stone. Upon the plateau of Giza, they drew lines in the sand that aligned with the very axis of the world. The earth was torn open, yielding its hardest bones to house the spirit of the pharaoh. Not by magic, but by the synchronized heave of 10,000 men, the mountains began to move. The river became a highway of stone, carrying the white casing that would make the monuments shine like stars. A logistical marvel of bread, water, and will, the construction site was a city unto itself. Khufu sat at the apex of the world, his word the absolute law that commanded the stone to rise. The bureaucracy was as rigid as the architecture, recording every loaf of bread and every block of stone. From every corner of the kingdom, the people were summoned to serve the great project of the king. They were not slaves, but conscripts of a divine purpose, fed and fueled by the promise of shared eternity. The eyes of the vizier saw all, ensuring that no stone deviated from the sacred plan. Magic and engineering intertwined, securing the structure against both gravity and evil spirits. While the court reveled in luxury, the shadow of the great work grew longer with each passing day. The surplus of the Nile was channeled into the desert, transforming grain into granite. Life in the shadow of the pyramid was hard but organized, a community bound by the colossal task. To see the pharaoh was to see the sun itself, inspiring the weary to lift one more stone. The hunger for grandeur reached across the seas, bringing cedar from distant lands to build the sacred barges. From the south came the gold that was the flesh of the gods, adorning the temples of the Giza Plateau. Soldiers marched not for conquest, but to secure the precious veins of turquoise and copper in the harsh Sinai. Peace of the kingdom was guarded by the spear, ensuring the great work continued uninterrupted. Far to the south, the red granite was harvested, destined to protect the inner sanctums of the kings. The Nile was the artery of the empire, pumping resources to the beating heart of the construction site. Trade-fueled technology, putting stronger tools into the hands of the builders. The world looked on in awe as the scale of Egypt's ambition surpassed all human understanding. Wealth flowed into the capital, a golden tide that lifted the monuments to the sky. They reshaped the land itself, bending the river to deliver the stones to the very foot of the pyramid. It stood finished, a miracle of light, a white mountain that outshone the desert itself. The final touch, the Ben stone, fused the monument with the solar disk, a beacon for the gods.
Deep within, the silence was absolute, enclosed by masonry so precise that not even a blade could pass between.
It was a machine of resurrection, aiming the soul of the king directly at the imperishable stars. A triad of power dominated the horizon, a geometric perfection that defined the zenith of the Old Kingdom. Every wall was a canvas, ensuring that the life of the land would continue forever in the realm of stone. A guardian arose, with the body of a lion and the face of a king, watching the sun rise for eternity. The cult of the dead was a daily rhythm, sustaining the spirit of the departed king with bread, beer, and prayer. The language of the universe was mathematics, and the Egyptians spoke it with fluency and grace. Under the gaze of the pyramids, the land rejoiced, basking in a golden age of stability and plenty. When the god-king departed the earth, the river carried him to his horizon, amidst a river of tears. Into the heart of the mountain he went, to sleep in the granite womb of his creation. The chamber was sealed, creating a pocket of silence intended to last until the end of time. Life continued in the shadow of eternity, the cycle of the seasons, indifferent to the stone giants. The elite enjoyed the fruits of peace, mastering the chaotic waters in sport and ritual. Magic breathed life into stone, ensuring the senses of the deceased remained sharp in the afterlife. Wisdom was hoarded like gold, preserving the knowledge that had built the impossible. While the dead slept in Giza, the living thrived in Memphis, the vibrant heart of the administration. Vehicles for the celestial journey were buried alongside, ready to sail the ocean of the night sky. At the height of their glory, they were spectral beacons, bridging the gap between the mortal and the divine. But time erodes all things, even the authority of the God-King, as the years stretched into centuries. Power began to fracture, drifting from the center to the edges, as governors sought their own eternity. The ambition remained, but the strength waned. Stone gave way to mud, and perfection to compromise. The servants of the gods grew richer than the kings, their temples swallowing the wealth of the land. Rot set in from within, as greed corroded the efficient bureaucracy that once moved mountains. Silence fell over the quarries, the rhythm of the chisels replaced by the whistling wind. Unity dissolved into discord, the double crown heavy upon a head that could no longer command. The pristine shine began to dull, the desert slowly reclaiming the edges of the masterpiece. The promise of Ma'at, cosmic order, was broken.
and the people grew restless in their hunger.
Then, the river failed them. The waters did not rise, and the black earth turned to grey dust.
Famine stalked the land, a specter more terrifying than any demon of the underworld. Hunger respects no law. The order of centuries collapsed in a season of desperation.
Borders crumbled, and the desert wolves came to feast on the dying carcass of the kingdom.
The desert rose up in fury, burying the guardians who could no longer protect the land.
Brother turned against brother, the unified land shattering into a mosaic of petty fiefdoms.
The sanctuary of power was violated, the throne overturned by the very hands that once served it.
In the darkness, the unthinkable happened. The sleepers were awakened, their houses of eternity desecrated for gold.
Scribes recorded the end of the world, lamenting that the high had been brought low. The giants stood watch over a dying world, impassive witnesses to the fall of the age they represented.
The sacred skin was stripped away, the white stone stolen to build the cities of a new age.
Stripped of their glory, they stood naked against the elements, rugged mountains of man-made geology. The Guardian's face was scarred by time and ignorance, its riddle forgotten by the passing generations. Seekers of fortune hollowed out the stone, finding only emptiness where god-kings once lay. The lesser works returned to the earth, dust to dust, erasing the names of those who built them. The city of builders vanished beneath the dunes, their laughter and toil silenced by the shifting sands.
Memory faded into myth. The giants became mysteries, their true purpose lost to the mist of time.
The earth shook, but the core remained. They were built not for a lifetime, but for the lifespan of the planet. The treasure was gone, the body dust, but the geometry of the room remained perfect, a sanctuary of pure math.
Twilight fell upon the old gods, their era finished, leaving behind only their stone shadows. Empires rose and fell, nations turned to dust, yet they remained, defiant against the march of time.
Each stone bears the scar of millennia, a testament to the sheer will of the human spirit to defy mortality.
They are the anchors of history, connecting the earth to the sky, the moment to the eternal. We look up and see not just stone, but the limitless ambition of those who came before us.
They are the memory of the world, whispering forever across the sands.